Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Let's Address This with Qasim Rashid. I'm excited about our guest today. Connie Chan is running for U.S. Congress in the San Francisco District of California, the 11th Congressional District, which, if you've been paying attention, is the district being vacated by former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's been in the seat for quite some time. It's been open for the first time in literally decades. And I'm excited. A few weeks ago, we had one of her opponents on, and my view has always been that we need to have robust primaries. And the more voters can see who their options are, the better and stronger our democracy is. So, Connie, thank you for joining us today and sharing a bit about your campaign.
Thank you so much, Wassim. Thanks for having me. It's really exciting to be here.
Well, the first question is always a question I'd like to ask. What is your superhero origin story? How did you get to a place where you decided you wanted to subject yourself to the scrutiny of running for U.S. Congress?
Thank you. I don't know if I would have like quote unquote a superhero story. And I would say, in fact, my story is one of the many immigrant story. I came to San Francisco's Chinatown when I was 13 years old with my mom, who was a single mom, and a younger brother. I mean, I don't know what she was thinking. Like, she was a very brave woman. She brought two teenage kids. I was 13 and my brother was like 11 turning 12, and we didn't speak a word of English in San Francisco's Chinatown. But I'm really grateful, San Francisco's Chinatown, but also just San Francisco has been a sanctuary city. What it means is really, I would say, not just for the immigrant community, but really the immigrant community all around the world coming to San Francisco, having a sanctuary. But it's also a sanctuary, I would say, for those who are often being left behind and discriminated against, like our LGBTQ communities. This is where I grew up. I'm so proud to be here in San Francisco. Sometimes we do get ridiculed being one of the most progressive cities around the nation, but I'm really proud of it. So this is if I am a hero of any kind, which I don't think that I am, but then I am definitely a proud San Franciscan. And here's my origin story.
Connie, you've got a strong track record of being a progressive, of being unapologetic about it. Can you talk a little bit about the work you've done in the community? How have you served the people of San Francisco over the past several years or even decade plus that ultimately makes you feel ready and qualified practically, mentally to say, I want to take the next step now and run for federal office?
Thank you. I mean, I really graduated from UC Davis. I came home. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I majored in two majors. One is classical Chinese, and the other one was comparative religion, technically religious studies. And my mom was like, what are you going to do with those things? And I was like, I wasn't sure. But what I really wanted to do is that I want to have a gig that I would be motivated to wake up, to every morning. I mean, I was like young, so I felt like I didn't have a lot of skill sets, but what I has always been is being bilingual. I love Chinese as a language. I really, and I learned to like speak English and write in English
Yeah.
still with an accent, but I'll deal with that. And so I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? And I became an interpreter and translator for the community. And I really feel like that has been my job, like even go through like different city departments, like be at the district attorney's office or City College of San Francisco, or even like Rec and Park department, and of course in the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. And I also worked at the state legislature, the state assembly as a staffer. And through all those jobs, I often time myself to be, not just an interpreter for those who have in need of language access, but really also a cultural, interpretation, and so much more. And for immigrants and working people, that's really how I see my role in the work that we have done in San Francisco. Is that we constantly in our work we prioritize working people and making sure that we deliver for really the working people's agenda.
And that kind of leads into my next question. What do you see are the biggest issues impacting Americans right now that you want to tackle? What do your first 100 days in office look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first and foremost is that across the board, no matter what your political ideologies or values, I think that today in San Francisco, because we're supposed to be a progressive city, but we will say that affordability is very a challenge, very much of a challenge, and our agenda is making sure that life is affordable for the working people. We're going to make sure that billionaires actually pay their fair share. It is time that not only that we do that in San Francisco, which that's what we do, We have overpaid CEO tax. We do everything we can to try to have a progressive taxation in San Francisco. We're going to bring that agenda to Washington, D.C., and really deliver healthcare, food security for working people. And not to mention, right now at this moment in San Francisco, oftentimes when we think about immigration like policy on a national level, we think about bordering states. But today, as where we are at with the Trump administration, it's unacceptable for ICE agents to be sent to our streets, killing the American people. And we got to push back. And frankly, the immigrant community, and that's really one of the things that we have to do right the way day one is affirm birthright citizenship. We're going to push back the fact that Trump's been threatening to take away citizenship for the naturalized citizens. We have to invest in a pathway to citizenship because we've seen that success in San Francisco. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing that in Washington, D.C.
Speaking of ICE, where are you on this? Should we abolish ICE? Can ICE be reformed? How do you tackle ICE once you're elected?
Well, I mean, I think that at this moment, the way that the ICE is, yes, get rid of it. It's not working. It is not even following the law that, frankly, immigration law that is set forth that is supposed to enforce. So, what is the point having an agency that is lawless and that is supposed to enforce law? But most importantly, when it comes to immigration, it is time. This actually clearly shows us it is time to that we need to have a comprehensive immigration reform. That we invest, like I said earlier, a pathway to citizenship, invest in our immigration community, immigrants community around immigration instead of thinking about this just simply on a law enforcement's perspective. I think that is more critical than ever.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be a comprehensive approach. And what a lot of folks don't realize that immigration was initially under the Department of Labor because it was a workforce management issue. And kind of as a punishment or as a racist policy, it was slowly transitioned into Homeland Security to demonize and otherize. Both of us are immigrants, and we're only here because of the work done by civil rights activists to ensure that immigrants had basic dignity, which unfortunately, this country has never really afforded them. So I'm glad to hear that you're on the right side of this. I also want to talk about how we get money out of politics. I actually don't know if your campaign is corporate funded, AIPAC funded, people funded. How are you funding your campaign, and what are your priorities on campaign finance reform once you're elected?
Absolutely. Like we do not take money from APAC, corporation pack, and guns, pharmaceutical, oil, and fossil fuel. But look, I agree. I mean, we're also a very much a people power grassroots campaign. We cannot write ourselves a $1.4 million check to fund our campaign. We have not been running for years just to get other, we're not corporate Democrats that get other, corporation or billionaires to fund our campaign. We really literally are funded by people who we have even people that really reoccurring donation as low as like $5 a month because that's really all they can afford. And it has always been our campaign though. In San Francisco, recognizing that money that not only that people can write themselves checks and write other people checks to buy election. In San Francisco, we're limiting to say that in San Francisco for the supervisor, it's $5 campaign donation limit. There are people who's like, oh my God, how is that possible? Well, then there's also public financing that really support grassroots candidate, right? The recognition that they mean that need that little boost. But truly is prioritizing San Franciscans because you have to be a San Francisco resident to be when you donate, then you get a receive of your matching. And so the San Francisco voters, their donation goes further than any outside money. And I think with that very same concept, it's the same. Like, let's actually look at, how do we restrict campaign contribution and who should be and can be, donating to campaigns. And those are really important at this moment. And I absolutely agree that in San Francisco, we have seen it. Many, like I have run, as a candidate twice already. And every single time I fought against not just billionaires, but also their funded PAC twice. I mean, we beat them and I'm really proud of that. But I know that we beat them wasn't because we have money. It was precisely that we have people. So I think that it's really making sure that San Francisco, like American voters all across, not just in San Francisco, recognize that their vote matters. But one of the ways to make their votes also matter, and that to mandate politicians to deliver solutions for American people, is also get the money out of
Mhm.
election.
Well said. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that Americans agree on across the spectrum. Red and blue agree that we need to get corporate money out of politics, and it's extraordinarily frustrating to watch corporate Democrats continue to take corporate money and AIPAC money and pharmaceutical money and big oil money. It's a betrayal of our values, and I think it's one reason why people stay home. So it's encouraging and exciting to see you take the lead. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at a recent forum, the question was asked, is Israel committing genocide in Palestine? And one of your opponents said yes, one said no. Can you talk about your answer and why you arrived at that answer?
I think it was a very painful moment, when that question was asked. And while I might, of course, our answer was yes, it is a genocide. But I also was hoping that we could also have a space where we can, dive deeper into that conversation, in discussion of our support or my support for Block the Bomb Act. We want to see that there is accountability to the Netanyahu government, to that they would comply to the terms of the ceasefire, in that U.S., that we actually prioritize our resources and support and delivering humanitarian aid in Gaza. Those are the things that we should be, that I wanted to talk about. Should we had more time and have more space? And, I think that we're going to continue to find whatever space that we can, especially in my opinion, to highlight accountability for Netanyahu, as well as what we can do every chance that possible that we can deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think to me that's such a moral litmus test. And people running for office who can't pass this basic litmus test, it tells me that they're not serious candidates. So I commend you on being on the right side
Thank you.
of history there. As we talk about kind of the path to victory, California has a jungle primary. So there's a realistic chance you're going to be running two campaigns here in the primary and in the general. What distinguishes you from your opponents? Because all three of you, there are some serious differences. One we just talked about, but to my understanding, the one opponent who said no has flipped and said yes, which is definitely not suspicious at all. But what distinguishes you from your opponents, and why do you feel you are the strongest candidate to represent the people of San Francisco in Congress?
Again, we're not a corporate Democrat, and we can't write ourselves like a $1.4 million check to just fund the campaign. We know that we've been on the ground, and because of the work that we do, we have built a very big tent and a coalition around the communities all across the board and all across the city. And we know that that is how we're going to win the campaign. And consistently, we have shown a record of work that we've been delivering for working people in San Francisco. I have been San Francisco's budget committee chair for the last 4 years now, and that this is going to be my fourth year. We have funded really the most vulnerable population in San Francisco, be it during the COVID recovery to the Trump administration cuts to our Medicaid and food security program. We make sure that we protect and funded the most vulnerable San Franciscans, and that's including Immigration Defense Fund, food security program, and just so much more, and for our youth and seniors and with people with disabilities. So we have a record that we can point to and say, you remember this work that we did together as a coalition, And of course, I'm super proud. I'm the only candidate that being endorsed by teachers, plumbers, and San Francisco labor. We're really proud of that campaign and people movements that we've been building.
When we talk about the next step, let's say you're elected and the vote comes up for Speaker of the House, would you support Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House, or would you support somebody else, and who might that be?
Yeah, I mean, like I would have to say that I would wanted to have conversations because my vote is not a status quo vote. It's not guaranteed. I think that we got to have a conversation because I know my vote represents San Franciscans, and that whoever I cast a vote in support of have to be aligned with San Francisco values and the people that sent me to Washington D.C. And I want to learn about the vision of whoever that wants to be our next Speaker of the House. That will they actually be able to deliver, frankly, Medicare for all? We have to see a pathway for that. We have to make sure that we continue to fund education, and that means affordable childcare. It means that we fund K through 12 classroom. And in San Francisco, we're a free city college. I want to see more of that. And I think that the person that's going to be this next Speaker of the House, I want to learn how can we deliver those promises, not just for San Franciscans, but really American people across the nation.
So to be clear, right now you would not support Hakeem Jeffries for Speaker of the House.
I have not learned about his vision and his ability to be able to deliver that vision. I would like to learn more because I don't want to say, well, in the event that he say, this is what we can do, great. But right now, my vote is not a guarantee.
Got it. In terms of what you would rather see out of the Democratic Party right now, out of the corporate Democrats in particular, where are they failing and where do you want to see more leadership out of them? And for those watching who are wondering why I'm picking on the Democratic Party, because we're talking to a Democratic candidate for Congress and the Democratic Party has a 25% approval rating, I would kind of keep me honest, I would assume you're running because you don't like the way things are going in the Democratic Party as well and you want to change things. What do you see that the party could be doing better or different that they're failing at right now?
Yeah, if you know me, my record in San Francisco, you know that I've been fighting corporate dams for a while now in San Francisco. But let me also just be very clear, though. I think that Republicans shouldn't get a pass either.
Agreed.
Republicans absolutely have to be held accountable for all these things that we've been seeing, not just in our nation right now with ICE. They relinquish the power oversight. The Congress have relinquished under the leadership of Mike Johnson, the GOP speaker, relinquished the power of Congress to Trump, and so that he can attack any foreign countries. It's insane. But yes, we also have to hold the corporate dam accountable, which is what we do in San Francisco. You know, oftentimes this is why in San Francisco we actually have a competitive primary. Even though we're overwhelmingly majority Democrat, is because I do believe that I have fought corporate dams in my races, both as a supervisor, but also try to fund, our local governments in the most progressive way possible, and that's including, the conversation around overpay CEO tax. It's the right thing to do. So those are the things that I'm going to continue to hold corporate Democrats accountable. That we ought to have a progressive taxation. We have to make sure that we hold billionaires accountable because we know that a true Democratic Party reform is we're not going to be able to find that in a corporate boardroom. We're going to find it on the streets with the working people. And I want to challenge Democrats to side with the workers and join us on the street picket lines.
I think that's excellent. I mean, I think that's exactly one of the contradictions that people see when they look at corporate Democrats, where they'll wax eloquent about the importance of fighting for working families, but then they'll go take money from the very corporations exploiting them in the first place. As we're down to our last couple of minutes, what are some of the most significant, or what are some of the endorsements that you're most proud of that really represent and reflect what you bring to the table that's unique to your campaign?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, we're endorsed by trades workers, we're endorsed by our teachers, and as well as just hotel workers in San Francisco. And I am just really proud of the endorsements by working people because we know that, and frankly, I want to say this. We're doing this because of the working people. We're running, we know that it's an uphill battle, but I really do believe like that this is what our campaign is about, that we're going to be able to be the platform and to be the horn and the microphone for working people. If they can't hear us enough in San Francisco, then we're going to make sure we bring that voice to Washington, D.C., and that's what we're doing.
Last minute of the interview, how can folks get involved with your campaign? How can they support you? How can they donate to you? How can they volunteer for you?
Thank you. I'm going to spell out my name. So my name is Connie, Connie. My last name is Chan, Chan. So our website is conniechansf.com. Come join us and check us out. But I think most importantly is look at who's behind us and really are the working people and join that campaign. We're not self-funded or corporate dams. So clearly we're not, we're in a space where we need all the support, people power that we can get.
ConnieChanSF.com. Connie, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today here on Let's Address This. It's always exciting to see who our new, future leaders may be. I know it's not easy what you're doing, but I commend you and I thank you for running. And I thank you for running the campaign the right way. On people funded, focus on affordability, focus on the right issues. It's a reflection of your character, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Qasim. I really appreciate it.
You're listening to Let's Address This with Qasim Rashid. That is Connie Chan running for Congress in the 11th District of California. Check her out at ConnieChanSF.com and be sure to hit subscribe and tune in next time.